the pathway of user interface and user experience design. So yeah, I think the whole transitioning came from finding out that I couldn't, should I say, make it in software engineering. Even fraud, like even the main topic of why we are here, even fraud, you're going to face challenges, you're going to face trying times and all of that. I think everything, I don't know if you agree with me that Nigeria is even not the most fraudulent country, or should I say,
but the problem with us is that we're loud.
We are just
we're loud. We're very loud, and then we are easily caught too sometimes.
It's quite unfortunate we find ourselves living in this particular country we call our home. You would find out that even some companies are paying people 10,000, 5,000. So what would 5,000 get you? Most of these people don't even want to do something legit again.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. The only way not to do fraud is not to do fraud. The popular good PR, for instance, that Nigerian men have outside of Nigeria. You get, when we say every 2 weeks, foreign women, they blow our trumpet. You get, podcasting, you don't just pick a mic and start talking. There's an aim for talking. So,
like some people, I will not mention any names. I will not
the three musketeers, we know them. Those people that they're supposed to seize their mic.
It was different, very, very, not like a town hall.
A town hall, different from Balapi. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's episode on the Triumphant Tribe. Today, as a follow-up to our series on Yahoo and Niger youth, we'll be having a guest come speak with us, an old friend and a professional at what he does. I am from the last episode, I said that we're going to be having guests come speak to us on things that youths could do instead of internet fraud, or what we popularly know in our Nigerian streets as Yahoo. So I'm just going to let the guest introduce himself, and then we'll just get into quick chit chat. So our guest.
Hello everybody. My name is Nsikan Etukudo. I come from Akwa Ibom. But I think over the past 9 to 10 years, 90 to 95% of people I have come across, I think they know and refer to me as socket. So yeah, socket kinds of work, and that's basically it. I don't think there is any more thing about me. Okay, yeah, I'm a designer. I'm a UI UX designer. That's what I do for you.
Okay, I was going to say which one is Nsikan, because now very few guys like myself no say your name Nsikan. Yeah. I mean, even there's a time I called you one day and you didn't pick. After I called like 2-3 times, your mom's now picked. I was like, that I'm looking for socket. And your mom's knew I was talking about you. All right, so
yeah, they know. Everyone in the house knows that I'm always referred to as socket. So I actually let them know so that tomorrow if I'm outside with them and someone shouts socket, they wouldn't feel somehow. So yeah.
Okay. So you said you're a UI UX designer. Can you just give us a brief overview into your journey into the field of UI UX and all of that? Just a brief overview of how you've transitioned. How you went into UI UX, because you did engineering school, simulate engineering itself to be precise.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, I think my tech journey started in 2017. This period when I think there was a strike between September and October or so, and then Makessian was organizing, the whole hotels or NG internship, that has actually brought in a lot of people, from whatever fields they were in into the tech space. And yeah, that moment or that period, I think I was interested in web development, front end to be specific. But long story short, it didn't really work out as I wanted to. And yeah, I took the whole of 2018 off and, tried to think, make certain decisions. And yeah, by 2019, I started to find myself in the pathway of user interface and user experience design. So yeah, I think the whole transitioning came from finding out that I couldn't, should I say, make it in software engineering, or at that juncture I wasn't grasping everything, so I had to switch.
That hotels or engine, that two of us been go. I still remember myself, you, Enyedi, and a couple of other guys. Yeah, I think it was August. It was actually August 2017, because I remember the problem I was having that time. I was using my old Dell laptop.
Okay.
A laptop that she in school. Okay, so was there any particular thing, incident, or whatever that inspired you? I mean, you said you started with software engineering when we all started front end engineering, and then you had to switch to UI UX. Aside the fact that you maybe weren't really finding good footing in front end engineering, was there anything that inspired you to particularly go in the direction of UI UX? Maybe an experience that influenced that decision, or whatever, or somebody?
Okay, so I think the thoughts with regards to UI UX, it began to come into play when we were still having participating in the hotels or NG internship, because we have 10 stages, stage 1 to stage 10, and you need to find yourself moving up the ladder, else you'll be kicked out. So I think, was it stage 6 or so, I didn't see myself really contributing, and it was getting very, very mental for me, because I wanted to stay. I wanted to be part of the finalists, of which I was lucky to be among. But I really wanted a situation whereby I'm still there, and I'm not just there as a number, but at the same time I'm right there contributing. My efforts are being seen, my contributions are being seen, and all whatnot. So I think that's when the first should I say motive came with regards to switching to UI UX design. But I think in 2018, that's when I kind of came to a conclusion, that it's going to be UI UX design. And another factor that influenced my decision making too was during our internship period, internship from school, because I interned with Julius Berger, and it was an amazing experience. But at the same time, something happened. So that incident, after that day, I called my dad. I was like, Chief, you see this engineering, once I'm done, it's likely I wouldn't continue. We didn't have an argument, but I think I made him know that a switch is going to be happening sometime soon.
Yeah, I think you've shared that story with me before. The whole Julius Berger stress and everything, and the incident, I think around Calabar to Highway. I think you've shared that.
Yes. I was with the Soviet team that period. And I was the only student with that particular team, and we were taking the surveys for an area that was supposed to be meant as a borrow pit for the construction of the road that's going to be happening. And I was asked to go and get pegs from the car that we came with, And on the way, I fell and I rode. I rode until I could stop, and then I was like, I think I was chubbier than I am now. And when I stood up, I looked up to the heavens, and I was like, "Nah, man, this cannot be me." So yeah, that's actually the incident, and I don't know if I would
Yeah,
say everything's going on smoothly. So yeah.
that's nice. That's nice. Well, was there any challenge you faced? I mean, did you just have a smooth sail transitioning into UI UX and then coming this far, or was there any challenge at the initial stage? And then, did you what steps exactly did you actually take to gain the necessary skills and knowledge in the field of UI UX?
So
Okay.
there were lots of challenges. In short, I don't think anybody who finds themselves trying to do something positive, even fraud, like even the main topic of why we are here, even fraud, you're going to face challenges, you're going to face trying times and all of that. I think everything is dependent on how you keep your cool, how you face your problems, face your fears, and what you can make out of it. But yeah, I did face certain challenges, and one of it, which I think it was like major, was being self-taught. That is a very, very big problem. It's not like you can't learn on your own, but the profession on user interface and user experience design, it's really, really broad. And when you get to now find yourself learning on your own, sometimes you digest information that probably is not necessary or is not needed, or you just be taking in information in a haphazard manner, and at the end of the day you're getting yourself confused. So that was like a very big problem. Another challenge was not even finding places I could intern with, places I could lay my hands on projects, or something I could join and be a part of. It also was like a very, very big challenge, even down to when I got my first job. My first job was more like, okay, just come in. I mean, we know you, so just come in. But yeah, it's a huge challenge, and I try my best as possible. If I'm in the position to maybe tutor someone, I try my best to help you understand that yeah, it's not easy, but you can, and it's going to be even easier if you try to avoid like some of the mistakes I made. So yeah, that's it, challenges. But how did I get to overcome them? Well, I think over time, I think that internship too kind of exposed us to certain personnels in the tech industry, because I don't know if you can remember vividly, that particular year we partook in the hotels NG internship. Lots of focus was pointed towards Akwa Ibom, and if you can also remember, most of those top personnel too, they were in Akwa Ibom, they were lodged, they stayed in Akwa Ibom for like 3 months, 4 months, and even some stayed up until like 2 years or so. So those people too played a vital role, not just in my life, I think in the lives of almost every techie that came out from Uyo. So those guys, they shared resources, they tried to smoothen those things that seem to be difficult, that seem to be challenges. And yeah, I think from that moment, things started to take shape, things started to look easy. But yeah, it's I think it's a personal race with regards to telling yourself, yeah, I can do it. I mean, we hear this a lot, but you just need to make up your mind that yeah, regardless of however it is, you can.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Thanks for that amazing response. So we're just going to move quickly to, since our time is quickly running, we're going to move into the main thing that brought us here. Now that's moving from fraud, from illegal to legit, or fraud to something that is not fraudulent. In this case, UI UX as a track in technology.
Okay.
Right. So considering the topic of internet fraud and its prevalence amongst Nigerian youths, can you like maybe just discuss how you believe that, what you think young people can do to shift their focus from fraudulent activities to legitimate career paths like the one you're in? So what can young people do to shift their focus? What kind of mental change do they need?
Okay, this question is really tricky. Permit me to come from this perspective.
No problem, sir. You have
Don't
the
get me
ground.
wrong. I'm not in support of fraud. Okay, I'm not in support of fraud, but I don't know if you agree with me that Nigeria is even not the most fraudulent country, or should I say,
Yeah, actually, we're not even top 10. I think last I checked, we weren't up to top 27. But the problem with us is that we're loud.
We are just the
We're loud. We're very loud, and then we're easily caught too sometimes, because most of the fraud we do is simple fraud. We don't really hide ourselves that well.
Yeah, you know you're committing fraud, and you want to oppress someone else, and you're not even, to some extent these days, they are not even, should I use the word ashamed that, okay, I'm into fraud and this is how I got my money, and nah,
they know they fear face again. I'm even going to share a story. Yeah, just this week, 2 nights ago, somebody tried to defraud me, a Yahoo boy, of 90,000 naira.
Interesting in these trying times.
I swear, 90k.
That's large.
And he did it in an open place. Although his phone number does not go anymore, the name I have might be fake, but I can easily get his pictures. Or I didn't snap him, but if police were to follow up where we were, a lot of cameras took like he passed through a lot of cameras, you get, and then he still had the mind. Such careless fraud. Yeah. So please just
a problem. And I would also say something else, that it's quite unfortunate we find ourselves living in this particular country we call our home, because if you want to look at, say, from 2013, 2014, 2015, I mean, it's not like fraud has always been existent. I mean, it was always known as Yahoo 419 before it moved over to Yahoo, and I don't know what it's called now, but it's what it is. Like, it's always been there. It just got worse than what it was before, and to a degree, the government is to be blamed. Why is that so? They have made life, and they are continuing to make life very, very difficult for citizens to live in. This is like an honest truth. So you now look at these people, they are considerate. Some of them come from homes where they barely find food to eat, or even if they find, probably one square meal for the day, they need to eat, they need to clothe, they have families to provide for, they have personal problems too. So you now look at it, there are no jobs, the available jobs, they are not paying you well. Imagine, even when the, what is it called? Is it minimum, like the minimum salary an employer can pay to their employee, 30,000
minimum wage.
Minimum wage, exactly. You would find out that even some companies are paying people 10,000, 5,000. So what would 5,000 get you? Nothing. So you see that a lot of people now look for alternatives, and to be frank, I'm a bit scared of what like the mortality rates could look like for our generation, because you also look at the whole fraud thingy, and you know people have it's even gone crazier than what it used to be. People are committing they are finding themselves doing rituals, using people, their girlfriends, innocent strangers, and all whatnot, just to be wealthy and gain status quo in the community. But it's crazy. So, like I said, the government is to blame, because should it be the country is working, people have gone to school, people are intelligent, people are brilliant, people are innovative, but the system has not provided that working environment to allow you, be the best or bring out the best out of, whatever it is you have learned. So you now see, like, should I say, the genesis of where the problem is coming from. Then you also another factor is that some people too want quick money. They want a scenario whereby they are not really doing too much work, they are not really stressing, and money is coming in. Bro, I've been around Yahoo boys before, and it's not easy, because you would need to convince, lie, to ensure to make this person believe that you're true. That's like a lot of time. It's not easy. If it's able to be that easy, you would message the person and say, okay, this is it. This is how you want to scam the person, and the person will fall. So there is nothing easy. So it's really going to take a lot, and I can't even say where the solution is going to start from, because I think it's actually going to start from mindset. It's going to start from coming back to where it all started from, the government. Can they start fixing things so that if people are worthy enough to, be in certain positions, do certain things that will be beneficial, not just to themselves but everybody, then they could do that. So you would see that, you would notice that these people, the rate at which this particular crime is being committed, it will drop. So the mindset needs to change, and it's going to take a lot, because even now, young youths, you ask them, what do you want to be? You want to be Yahoo boys. Everybody wants to be a Yahoo boy. Even the girls that we want to date would prefer to date a Yahoo boy than someone that has a legitimate job. So it's crazy. It's really, really eating up a lot of people, and it's going to really take a lot of unlearning and relearning, a lot of initiatives, so that these people would understand that, okay, this thing is terrible, and there are like other alternatives. Well, with regards to switching to careers, I would be very, very honest. Most of these people don't even want to do something legit again.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. The only way not to do fraud is not to do fraud, because for most of them, once they enter, they cannot come out. Making defrauding people in hard currency and spending in Nigeria feels like a big thing, especially with the way the purchasing power of the citizens generally has gone really bad. And if you also notice, speaking about the government, fraud has always been a thing in Nigeria. In fact, what you call 419 is actually, I think, from section 4, subsection 19 of the Nigerian Constitution, that talks about obtaining something illegal, getting money illegally from people. That's the section of the Constitution that has that. That's how the term 419 started. Fraud has been happening since the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I think it's the biggest fraud, one of the biggest frauds in this country happened between 1994 and 1997. Now, internet fraud as a thing in Nigeria started in 2004. but it wasn't still too popular. If you look at what internet fraud, like the numbers for internet fraud between 2004 to 2015, and then look at somewhere between 2015, 2018 till now, the numbers are insane. And it actually, you can correlate it with the economic realities of the country. Yes, some people are just greedy, but some people too are actually going in because of, I mean, a few years ago with 400k salary or even 150, you're a big boy. You can afford to be wearing foreign designer suits.
Yes.
You can afford to even drive a T-Roba
Yes,
car,
sir.
T-Roba Kia. But today, even on 700k, you can't live that life again. Even on 700k, it's that the dip has gone that bad. So it's a factor too. That's very correct. It's a factor too. So yeah,
I beg,
were you going to
where
say
this-
something, or should I?
where this is 700k. I beg, show me the way.
I beg you, now
Let's
you,
see
now
your
you,
700k.
now you be my organ now.
But yeah, but yeah, like you're very, very correct, my brother. And you know, it's really crazy. So I can't really begin to fathom what the solution can be or could be, because it keeps getting worse. I feel that if the government were to maybe like step in and start doing what they are supposed to do, then you know people would have the zeal, because Nigerians are willing to work. Believe me, Nigerians are willing to work, but there is no work. So when there is nothing, man gas job. They have things to take care of. So yeah, that's basically it. For them transitioning to UI UX, it's the door is always open, in as much as the industry is becoming saturated, extremely saturated, but it's still open. And it's not even just user interface and user experience design. There are like other branches of tech you could venture into: cloud computing, machine learning, you know, writing. There are various aspects of writing, and people are making crazy funds out of all of this. So if I believe if you have the money to purchase devices, you have the money to purchase internet, you know, you should have that patience to learn, because even working with your clients, you need to have patience for them to eventually agree to pay you money. So I think it's tech and fraud. They're kind of on the same plane, but you know, parallel lines. They're moving in different directions.
You know that's why some of them, when you meet them these days, like the one I met on Wednesday, they'll tell you they work remotely. Meanwhile, na 419 them. So
This said, like I was at the gym. Like that was yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And I haven't been to the gym in a very long time, so I kind of started again. And this bro, you know, we're just trying to get to know ourselves. The last set of people that left the gym, and they're like, where are you from? Okay, I'm not from here. So what are you not doing here? I was like, I work remotely. I work from home. They're like, hey, now all of us they work remotely. I didn't even think of explaining myself, because I understood what he meant. Me now, I was trying to start explaining myself. You know, they said, "Good morning, they lead to how are you?" And I didn't even want good morning to lead to how are you. So I just kept quiet. And you know, I bet he assumed I was doing the same thing with him. But yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. You know, as a Nigerian, there are so many things, so many ideas people have of us. You know, the popular good PR, for instance, that Nigerian men have outside of Nigeria. You get, when we say every 2 weeks, foreign women, they blow our trumpet. You get.
Yeah.
So, as a Nigerian in the tech space, do you encounter like any misconceptions or stereotypes that relate that basically arise from the fact that a lot of youth in your country or in Nigeria aspire to be fraudsters or are already fraudsters. Some have made it in fraud. Some are trying to make it in fraud. Maybe when you're trying to seek for opportunities in foreign work opportunities or something like that, or even when like Nigerians that will feel like maybe when they hear you say you're UX designer, they'll think that that is maybe a cover for fraud. Do you get to experience any sort of such misconceptions or ill-informed stereotypes? Would I say ill-informed? Well, unfortunate stereotypes. I think unfortunate is more appropriate.
Profiling.
Yeah, profiling. Do you happen to experience such? Maybe
Well,
amongst Nigerians or with searching for foreign work opportunities?
me stepping out of my house, I know that a lot of people on my street, even in my compound, they would believe that probably I've been to fraud. Because you only see me, maybe I'm going out to get something, or maybe I'm going to the gym. Aside that, I'm in the house, and I locked my hair. The way I always look, I always probably I've braided my hair, or I'm not just looking like your regular 9 to 5 person. So obviously, since I've not barbed my hair, I don't wear suit and tie every day. Nobody sees me wearing suit and tie, or any corporate wear. I believe that profiling, that stereotype, it's there in the air. Career wise, I think it's also very, very present. I'm not even going to front. In as much as if you want to look at, should I say, the country that has the most praises in Africa, if like other people from other places are like praising tech geniuses, Nigeria is always the country that gets the most praise, be it devs, be it designers, and other aspects too. So it's even crazier to now find yourself living with these stereotypes because of what certain people have done or what certain people are doing, and it's causing more harm than good right now, because you get to apply for jobs and nobody's answering you because you're in Nigeria. And I think I was trying to apply for a job one time, and the error message I got is, we are currently not accepting any applications
from your country.
You can imagine.
A normal thing. Even me, I don't experience that before. I don't experience that.
Unless maybe you're in South Africa, maybe Uganda and Rwanda and Kenya. These are like the few African countries that tech-wise, they have some kind of respect, digitally.
Yeah.
But when you mention you're in Nigeria, I think the first thing or when they see that you're in Nigerian, the first thing that comes across your mind is this person going to scam me? Would I get defrauded? And sometimes they would now look for means to either pay you very less, so that even if they are paying you that less, they wouldn't really feel it if at all you intend to defraud them along the line. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. But I don't know. Can we change it?
It's what it is.
I think we can change it, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
You just need to
that's one of the things we're trying to do with this podcast. We're trying to create that little effect. You know what they used to say in Ibibio? Is it, how do they put it? Yoruba, something like that. It's from little droplets. You have a drum full, right? So a little here, a little there. Yeah, that's also another way to say it. That's just what we're trying to do with this. It might look like we're not doing a lot, but I just looked through our analytics today, and it's gone really high. So with more people tuning in to listen, and podcasting is something that you might not get listeners today, you might not get listeners tomorrow, you might not even get listeners next year. But then maybe 5 years down the line, something happens the content is always there, right? The content is always there,
Exactly.
and people can always listen. This podcast is distributed to like every major podcasting platform out there, from YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere, right? So this is just a little way that we can contribute to solving this social vice that particularly affects youth a lot. Sorry, I had to interrupt you, please.
No, it's very, very much needed, for the listeners to kind of know why we are having these discussions and, trying to say the bitter truth. Truth is very bitter. So anyone who eventually gets to listen, I'm not saying you're a fraudster. You could get a message that you're going to pass on to someone you know, or a friend of a friend. You get me? But this is like, and I'm super amazed to be here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's just our little pet project. All right, so we're going to go to your personal growth and achievements so far in UI UX. At least I know you've been doing this professionally. This should be your 4th year, right? So, do you have any major milestones or accomplishments so far that you're very proud of in your journey?
Yeah, so I think the very first one would be being able to, after the whole self-learning, self-paced learning and all of that, I was able to land the job. Like that's a very, very massive W. And I think another milestone is, being able to give back. I've found myself tutoring people, and it gives me lots of joy when I look at these people and they are progressing, even if, they are not progressing to the level that when we were discussing and all of that, this is the level they want to reach. But that there is a chain of progress happening. You can find out that this person have moved from point A to point B and is yearning to move to point C. Last year we organized a boot camp. So then I was still Figma lead for UO chapter. I'm no more. I handed over. But why that program ran, we were opportune to teach people, in various tracks: user interface and user experience design, user research, as well as user writing. And we had almost 500 to 600 people who showed interest, even though at the end of the day, I think 30 to 50, they completed the project. But that alone is like, it makes excess sense for me because it's not easy. It took dedication, it took time, it took consistency. This is something you're doing out of your own free will. You're not being paid. One thing people don't know is, unless you have zeal for something, if money is not coming, you may not be 100% consistent with the energy you're going to be giving off that particular thing. But the case was different, and I'm really, really, should I say, proud of not just myself, everybody who was part of that boot camp last year, the campers, as well as the mentors and the organizers. It was fun. So those two in general, I think they're like the ones that stand out very, very well for me.
Great.
Well, one other thing I'm going to add, that it's just going to be 3, is my ability to, should I say, to give feedback. So earlier on, giving feedback was like a problem, giving and receiving actually. But these days, I see myself receiving feedback in an appropriate way, Even when you say the one that will vex me, I will just know how to filter it. And if there is any sense out of whatever you say that is vexing, I will just try to filter the nice things and push the other one away. At the same time, giving good feedback, actionable feedback. So I think those three, they are like the three important aspects of growth and achievement in regards to the career.
Okay, that's nice. Thanks very much for that response. So we've been speaking. Okay, before I even go to that, I'd like to know, is there any way that your skills in the areas of, say, creativity, problem solving, or even your idea of technology has evolved since you began this journey? Has it improved your creativity? Because, for instance, before now, I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've had this idea for over 2 years, but I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do with the podcast. But I know I wanted to just get the mic and start talking because there's so much to talk about. You get. Well, since I started this podcast, it was just 2 months. When I listen to podcasts now, right, I don't just listen as a listener. I listen and, like, based on the fact that I'm not just a regular listener anymore, right? I listen and try to understand the flow of the conversation, because podcasting, you don't just pick a mic and start talking. There's an aim for talking. So
like some people, I will not mention any names. I will not cause violence.
The three musketeers, we know them. Those people that they're supposed to seize their mic. So you don't just pick a mic and start talking. One, and then I try to listen to their first episode, listen to their episode 3 months after. If it's an old podcast, listen to the episode 6 months after, 1 year after, 2 years after, right? To see the progression in the quality of sound that they are giving, right? And in the quality of the speaking of the speakers and even the host. So in that way, I am not just listening as a regular person again. So I'm trying to understand, for you as a UI UX professional, how has your transitioning or your journey into the career sort of made you evolve in terms of creativity, problem solving, or generally your idea of technology?
Thank you very much for this question. I'll start off by saying that if you're not observing like changes around you, then it's either you're stagnant or you're stagnant, because for a change to occur, that change could be positive and it could be negative. So if probably after you start or you started out in something and you're getting worse than you started, it means it's a negative change. And if over a while, over a period of time, you go back to compare and contrast what you look forward to doing in the future, and you can see it for yourself that yes, progress is being made. I don't think you would need a soothsayer to tell you that. And if you're progressing, obviously you would find yourself you or people will be reaching out to you for maybe ideas, feedback, or something. But you would also feel the aura that yes, something positive is happening in my life. So between 2020, when I started working full time, like when I landed my first role, and 2021, by I think around September, October 2021, I saw a very, very huge difference, like with regards to when I started designing in 2020, like when I got my first job. It was different, very, very. not like a town hall.
A town hall, different from Bala.
So then 2022 I joined my current company. Okay, sometime in 2021 I think I joined about 2 companies or so, and I could always see those positive changes, those progress being made in the work I was doing, because certain mistakes I was doing before, I stopped doing them. And I was, should I say, my decision making, it came from, should I say, a point, or it came from a point of this person knows what they are doing. I don't know if you get. So certain things I'm going to do, I will have reason for why they are being done. And we're in 2023 and it's getting madder. Last week I worked on one project. It's a startup for me and my friend. He's in Ghana, but we kind of worked together sometime in 2021. He reached out and was like, alpha. I did everything in 1 week. But whenever I still have a lot of pride inside of me whenever I go to look at that project. It was just last week. But I look at what I have done, even beginning of the year. I look at what I did the last quarter of last year down to the beginning of last year. There are new things that are happening. Some things that I was scared of doing maybe 2-3 years ago. I'm trying them out. I'm trying to see how they work. I'm facing my fears in general. So it's sweet. It's difficult. It's not easy. Challenging yourself to move from one point to another is not really, really easy. But if you're really determined, obviously you're going to see that creativity, and I think it comes naturally because experience doing a particular thing yields to how vast you would have knowledge about that particular thing. Because if you're not doing, then obviously you don't know. Sometimes you see people apply for jobs and they may not necessarily have a clear of how that job works, and they will tell you, "Guy, no reason I will learn on the job." You get? So that I will learn on the job means they are very, very willing to sacrifice the time they will need to probably learn something new, and they are determined that in the next 6 months I'll be better off from now that I'm applying for this job. So probably it's not completely rosy as I would want, because actually I'm not going to lie, money is what lured me to tech until I found out that before it started. So that value is what will give you so much money, and the value will keep increasing. The worth of your value will keep increasing over time as you keep experiencing, with projects, people, all whatnot.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for that response. So we've been saying a lot of things. We've gotten to know about you. We've gotten to know about your journey and transitioning, going legit, what it would mean for people. But for people out there that are listening, we haven't really spoken about the importance of UI UX as a track in technology, right? In the field of technology or engineering, general information technology, and computer science, all of that. So I'd like if you could just quickly, maybe in 2 to 3 minutes, explain to our listeners what really UI UX design and all of that entails, and why it's a crucial part of modern technology and business, and how your work as a UI UX designer, some UI UX designers earn quite a good amount of money. So for them to be earning that much, that means they are contributing to improving the digital experience for users. So can you briefly explain to us what really the role is about, and how this contribution to the digital experience of users happens.
Okay, so UI UX, people always there's always a misconception. People misunderstand that term UI UX a lot, and I know a couple times on this podcast I've made mention of the full meaning of what UI UX is, but I'm going to do that once again and probably explain each of those terms individually. UI is user interface and UX is user experience. So bringing two of them together is user interface slash user experience design. User interface, in short, we have user in the two words, but one is interface and the other one is experience. Even in layman terms, those are like very, very different words that mean different things. User interface on its own has to do with what you can see and interact with. That's basically what user interface is. So to a degree, user interface may not necessarily be digital. In most cases, it's digital, but there are products out there that are not digital products and they still have user interfaces. I mean, you have books, you purchase books, and there'll be like 4 books there, but there's one that will enter your eye. Could be because of the color of the body or the illustrations that are on it, or one thing or the other, something that just interests you. That's why you go for that one. So that's user interface, basically what you can see and interact with. User experience, on the other hand, is the satisfaction you get, when you use a particular product, still digital or physical product, whatever the case might be. So I'm trying to look for a case scenario whereby something happens and let's say you visit a website and that website just keeps loading. You're not getting any information. If maybe your network is bad, nothing is happening. You're just there looking at the screen. You'll be vexed. Or even enter a platform and there is so much information, you don't even know what to digest. You'll be pissed and you get out of there. So the satisfaction you get upon using something, that's basically what user experience is.
Oh, thank you very much for bringing that clarity. Because a lot of people outside of this space, technology particularly, do not really know what that entails. I'm sure just giving that clarity is going to make sense to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking.
Why it's important, and also
okay,
how,
you contribute.
It's really, really important. Yeah, it's really important. For a lifespan of a product, if user interface and user experience is being taken into consideration. Everybody likes beautiful things. Okay, you go out, you're looking for the nicest shirt, or even when you're not going out to shop, you step out and you see someone good, you would obviously, if the person is looking so nice and you're so moved, you would give the person a compliment and say, you look nice, I like. The person will be happy. So that also has to be people produce. You now come to see that user interface and user experience being different is they work hand in hand. The user experience is too good, but your user interface is bad. Well, people might stay because of they're very glad if you bring in interface that these two, they really do a lot with regards to how a product eventually works in the lives of people, as well as how far and how long this product is going to last for, upon when it was first released. So not just UI UX, other aspects to come into play, but scenarios where maybe you're working, imagine WhatsApp right now. Most people would ditch it. Most people would ditch it to use maybe Signal or something else. But because WhatsApp is good. They are iterating, they are making changes. They are listening to their users, knowing, okay, this is what's up, this is what I want to be able to do. And they're also making those things accessible with ease. That keeps them alive, and that makes people still use them. So basically, for a business, UI UX really plays a very vital role with regards to retaining the users, enabling the users to do what they want to do, as well as the lifespan of a product. So that's basically what user interface and user experience design helps to do. Then my own contribution, like how my own UI UX jobs have contributed to improving the digital experiences of users. Well, I think because firstly, I'm going to say that before a project is worked on, or before you go ahead to work on a solution, I think you need to know what the problem is and why you're doing what you want to do. And when you have that understanding, I think it's going to, open doors for you to have insights in regards to how to come up with a solution, the kind of solution you're going to come up with. And that these things are like for people, so you need to communicate with them. So I believe that so far so good. The projects I've worked on, which have been released and are currently running, are really, really impacting the lives of users positively, because obviously that solution is solving a problem which they hoped for a solution. So and I'm excited to be a part of their happiness, because when you have your problem solved, obviously you're going to be happy. So it's a good thing to be part of it.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay, for that's personal part of the answers to the question. All right. So I believe that some of our listeners are already aspiring UI UX designers. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. I believe that some of our listeners are already aspiring UI UX designers, and while some could have been thinking of what they could do, and by reason of this episode, they might now be having UI UX as one of the options they are open to considering, or maybe have already even made up their mind to go down the path. So for such aspiring UI UX designers, what advice do you have for them in terms of pursuing a career in UI UX? Do you have any specific resources, courses, or even communities that you could recommend for them to go and learn and grow in this field? You remember that when you started, you said you have people that you have privately tutored, and one of the things that comes with such is that the mistakes that you made, they will not make. They would have learned from your own experience. So do you have any of such advice for aspiring UI UX designers?
Okay, I think the very first thing is open up your mind that you want to delve into this career path, and knowing that as much as it's design, it's not really easy, because people think, okay, it's not programming, I'm not writing lines of code and all of that, it's going to be a smooth ride. Well, I'm sorry, it's not. Look forward to having a mentor, or someone you can always reach out to. Probably in the course of your learning, you come across something that is difficult, you can always reach out to them, and they're always available to help your journey get to where you believe you want to go to. So it's nice to look forward to a mentor. There are lots of resources online. Be active on Twitter. I'm not saying you should post every moment, but being active is following great designers who are on the platform, looking at what they post, and asking questions if need be. You should also look forward to communicating with people, try to be an open person. People are always willing to share whatever it is they have. All you just need to do is ask, and you can't receive if you don't ask. So the Bible did not lie about that. Also, for courses, there are lots of courses online, so you can get a course on maybe Treford, Udacity, Coursera, which other one? There is this particular platform that is skipping my head.
Plural sites.
Plural sites. So these are there are lots of them. There are lots of them that are out there, and they kind of even have a very, very good curriculum whereby you learn on your own, and you get maximum understanding. Sometimes it's always very, very expensive. Sometimes you would see the ones that are free, sometimes the ones that are paid for, and it's affordable too. But whatever the case might be, just know that you would need a mentor. You would need you need to learn. You need to learn. You need to unlearn. You need to relearn, and you need to also have it at the back of your mind that you cannot digest everything, because even up until now, I still go to maybe check on something I know that I already know before, but I don't want to assume that I already know something, so I can be sure about what I want to do. So I think basically, just have your mentor, set your mind that once I come in, I'm going to communities. So there are lots of design communities on Twitter. Could you fully aware of Friends of Figma? So Friends of Figma, they're like I think almost every state in Nigeria has their own chapter. It may not be all, but most major cities have chapters. So try to find out if your city has a chapter. Register, join, attend meetups, and talk to people. Try to network. It starts from there, and before you know it, you'd be doing greater than whatever it is you're doing now.
Yeah, thanks very much for that insight. You're speaking of mentors. If you don't mind, you can drop your handle. I'm not saying you should drop, but you can always drop your handle. Maybe they could follow you on Twitter or any place you could be active or responsive on. You said something when we started about communication and feedback. And I know that when it comes to technology, there's always a lot of collaboration. I really haven't worked. Okay, outside of technology, the field I've had the most experience in outside of technology is teaching. In teaching, I know we don't really do that much collaboration, but in technology, I know there is lots and lots and lots of collaboration, right? You're depending on this person for this person is depending on you for this. You need feedback from this person for this. You really will not be working alone. You really will not be working alone, right? It's like Liverpool. You're never working alone, that kind of thing. So when it comes to the field of UI UX, I know at least collaboration is very essential. So I don't know, maybe you could share some insight into how working with teams or clients has shaped your approach to UI UX design, or how do you see the work of UI UX designers positively impacting digital interactions and user satisfaction?
So collaboration is like, it's key. I mean, no man is an island, and for you to I wouldn't want to say have a perfect design, but for you to have a design that is good to go, that it has the principles of design inside of it, and when someone looks at it, it's also giving off a good user experience at the end of the day. You need to collaborate. This collaboration cuts across various areas. Could it be maybe you're working with a company, there are other teams, It could also be that maybe it's a side gig that just came around and probably you're working on it alone as a designer. Well, cool, but it's not nice to work alone. I've been in that shoe before, where I basically did everything on my own. Like when I mean everything on my own, I just learned about what needs to be done, and I began to say, okay, this is how it's supposed to work, and I begin to design. That's not right in any way. You need to collaborate with everybody, starting with asking questions. Asking questions may not look like collaboration, but it's very massive collaboration, because the person you're asking a question could, know to a certain degree about what you want to work on. And that person giving you reasons or telling you about that topic or whatever it is you're working on at that very juncture, it can do a very, very large thing for you with regards to what you're supposed to do. So it's never advisable to work alone. I mean, even up until now, I have a friend, David is his name, but we call him Moro Moro. He's always on score. David always reached out to me to go over his work, give him feedback and all of that. And I noticed he kept doing this over and over and over again. So when I give him feedback, he iterates, comes back, and then is it better and all of that. I didn't used to be someone that collaborated a lot. Okay, so I actually needed it, and I found out that David can actually be my own collaborator. So what I do these days is when I work on maybe a screen or whatever it is I'm working on, just as David is going to pass his own to me, I pass mine to him, and we'll jump on a call. Sometimes an hour, 2 hours, we are going over designs. He's giving me feedback, telling me this he doesn't think this could work, maybe this alternative, and he will even give me reasons why he's opting for those alternatives, which by the time you now sit down and look at it, you'll be like, why didn't I even think of it like this? But collaborative work is always the best, because you would see that you would find out that you cannot cover up every loophole. So you need a second eye or a third eye that would go over and look at the thing from the eyes of a user. Because sometimes when you're working from the perspective of a designer, design, and there are certain things you'd miss. But David does that a lot for me, and it's like it's been very, very mad. It's been very, very sweet, since I started reaching out to him for feedback. So it's really, really necessary for everybody, your teammate, your supervisor, anybody on your team. Even the person doesn't even have to be a designer. The person doesn't even have to be tech inclined. Okay, so it could be that maybe you're working on a solution for a particular user group, and maybe you come across someone who happens to fall on that user group. You could take a little of their time. If you have any incentive to incentivize them with at the end of the day, fine. I mean, they will really appreciate it. But by the time you present whatever it is you're looking forward to feedback from, their feedback is collaboration, whether you like it or yes. And at the end of the day, you will go back with something whereby it's either it's correct or, well, it's correct, but something needs to be fixed. So if you want to have a good work at the end of the day, you just have to collaborate. That's basically it. Collaboration is key. If you're not collaborating, then you would find yourself, doing messy jobs. You find yourself, working on things that could go ahead to sorry. You find yourself working on things that at the end of the day would also cause poor user experience, and you wouldn't want that. So
Okay, thanks very much, Socket. So we're just going to be doing some closing quickly, killing two birds with one stone. I'd like if you could summarize your journey from starting out to where you are now, specifically highlighting the lessons you've learned along the way, one. And two, what message would you like to leave with our listeners, especially those maybe that are considering their career options? So, first one is the lessons you've learned from the summary of where you started to where you are now, and then what message would you like to leave with our listeners that might be considering their career options at this point?
Okay. Firstly, I'd say you should be confident in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Um, that's like the very, very first thing. Secondly, from my own story, I've learned that you can't walk alone. So also have that at the back of your mind that you would need the support of other people, and it's very, very necessary and essential you get all the necessary help you can along your journey moving up to become a designer. You should also know that lots of research is really, really needed. Sometimes you may not necessarily need to start designing. You could just go look at existing platforms. How do they work? When looking at those, you begin to get inspired. Also for people who are looking forward to venture into design, you need to study. Okay, you need to study other aspects of design, not just user interface and user experience design. You need to study architecture. You need to study, not study literally, but you need to know about it. You need to research about it. You need to be interested about it. You need to be interested in it or interested about it. Architecture, cars, even food, interior designs. As a designer, you need to just study your environment, because your environment is design. How you make your bed, how you dress, arrange your room is design. So by the time you begin to see all those little things and begin to put them into consideration, your career path as a designer is going to be taking shape. Finally, remember that you need to collaborate. Like, collaboration is key. Collaboration fosters communication, and you cannot collaborate if you can't communicate. Like, they kind of work hand in hand. So collaborate, look for a mentor, do a lot of research. Don't rush to go and start designing. Research first so that you would know what you want to do. And I believe that you're going to be a great designer. For my handle, I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in maybe reaching out to me or saying something, asking a question, or whatever is on your mind. My Twitter handle is Oluwa __ sockets. So I wouldn't say I'm very, very active on Twitter, but if you message me or if any interaction comes in, I would always respond to it within the next 1 to 2 hours, if not immediately. But that is that.
All right, thanks very much, Socket. So the last question before we close the curtains for tonight, before I ask the last question, I usually have many proverbs most times. There's something they usually say in Ibibio that sort of highlights the fact that you cannot see all around you at the same time. And it goes like, I could literally maybe interpret it up in some sort of paraphrase to mean that when you're dancing, you cannot see your back. So you need somebody that is behind or somebody around you to see some other part. So when you're dancing from the front, from where you're looking at while dancing, it might look like you're dancing well, but somebody behind you might be seeing something wrong with how you're dancing or how your dance will be improved. So that's something to highlight the point you made about collaboration. Sometimes you just need to see something from another person's perspective. So the last question would be, do you have any specific message to convey to maybe any young individual who might be considering fraudulent activities or something illegal as a means of income? Do you have any specific message you would like to convey to such a person?
Well, I'm going to join the magnitude that have been, preaching the message of quit fraud to also say they should quit fraud. I know it's not going to be an easy decision to make, but there are like tons of, things out there that you could find yourself doing, and they will make, appropriate sense than venturing into fraud. You could learn tailoring, and everything is packaging. You learn tailoring and you come up with a very nice brand name, and you have your apparel, you have your package, you have the way you package your items and send to your customers. At the end of the day, we have what is it called? Your mix casual also. He's still a normal tailor, but it's packaging, and he will bill you more than what your tailor in Iparu will bill you. I don't know if you get. And it could even be that your mix casual learns from a tailor on the street. But what I'm basically trying to say is that there are other things out there that can give you amazing funds. Okay, all you just need to do is learn, see how you can make the most out of it. Yeah, thank God for technology. Technology too is making things easier, TikTok and all of that. If you like the camera, you could use your camera to do a lot, promote yourself, and funds will be coming in. Plenty people are making thousands of dollars, and they are not even leaving their house. They are not defrauding anybody. So you too can. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Sockets. Thank you very, very much. We can't appreciate you enough for making out time to come on the podcast and speak. This is such value that we've created this night. Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to the feedback we'll get from this episode, and maybe some other time if we can still hop on another episode together. Thanks very much, guys, for listening, and do have a lovely day till we speak again. Thanks, Sockets. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye, everybody.